Hello everybody, welcome to our webinar. So I guess today we're going to be going through the next software that I embarked upon. So this is pretty much another part of our series of let's test all of the real-time render engines, and we're going to be soon summarizing my experience, because I pretty much went through all of those render engines that are pretty accessible to get to, for example, software that was suggested like a second ago, but by Submaria. Yes, Unreal Engine is amazing, but honestly, getting into it to really produce anything of quality takes too much time, and it's just the curve is not there. Now today we're going to be talking about a little bit of Lumion. I'm going to be exploring the software with you, and we're going to be talking about the proper way of actually utilizing the software to some extent. The scene that we're going to be working with, it was done by our student, and as always we're going to be trying to base our work on that. So the student's name is Mateusz, so Matteo Janczak, and Mateusz Janczak, thank you very much for sending us the scene, and let's see what exactly does it consist of. So there are a couple of small mistakes that if I would pick up upon earlier, I would probably not let it slide. For example, a light that's inside of the elements. Oh, by the way, I think this is supposed to be one of those moments where I say, hello everybody, my name is Mike and I'm a teacher for Vizacademy, because I think I forgot about that. So for those of you that just joined in, my name is Mike and I'm a teacher for Vizacademy. And today we're going to be talking about Lumion, and we're going to be doing a first look at the software, how it's done, or let's say how to mix it up with software like Corona and 3ds Max. Corona is my go-to rendering engine, but recently I felt that it's time to do a bit of exploration. So that's why we're doing this series of each software, let's say we're testing each software just to get a little bit of understanding what is popular right now. And I see that my usual suspects are here. Mikasa, nice to have you. Rama, Ahmed, also amazing to have you. Looks like there is decisions to make this crossovers from Corona, so no one can ask which is better in live chat. I mean, we have to test everything, and at the same time, at this point, we're exploring. We're trying to get from Corona or 3ds Max to live rendering, and we're just testing which one is the best. I'm going to give you my strong recommendation later on, but something that I want to focus on today is Lumion. Also, guys, remember that none of those streams are sponsored, so I'm just going to be giving you my opinion, my experience, and if you are more acquainted with the software, you're better with it. Potentially, I'm going to say a lot of bad things, but we're going to try to make sure that those are going to be kept to minimum. Okay, so first thing first, the scene is very, very, very simple, and it doesn't have too many, let's say, traps in it. So I'm going to try to make sure that what we're going to be talking about is going to be just simply renderable. So let's compare how it renders in Corona off the bat. And I would say that it's nearly identical to what we've seen at the, let's say, promotional videos of ours. Also, this image was done by a student that started from zero. So Mateusz came to us with zero knowledge of 3ds Max, and over the span of 7 weeks, he was able to deliver this. I mean, this image didn't take him 7 weeks, but he's now fully capable of producing images like that from absolute scratch. So our school is actually, well, we're very proud of our students' results, and that's the only thing we can really use as our promotional materials, because, hey, if I'm going to show you my work, it's okay, but it's not going to be a good measure of our training's quality. So if you want to visit Vizacademy UK, but now let's continue. So the scene as is was exported, or we could export it into Lumion. So what is Lumion? Because Lumion, as you can see, has even a different logo than the one that I used for our webinar. But I did it consciously because I kinda don't like the new one. I know it's better, more hip, but I kinda liked the old style of the previous logo. I know it's nothing to do with me, but it is something that I actually liked. This one is more corporate. Now they're no longer hip, they're no longer hop, they're just corporate. Although, is it wrong? Is it bad? First of all, I need to complain. I absolutely need to make a complaint. Sorry. Let's go to Lumion.com, and this is the most annoying website ever. So, I mean, again, it's my opinion. First of all, the privacy, okay, cookies, that's normal, spam today. They got a chat bot that you cannot chat with, it's just a bot, and you can just pick the answers that questions that they want you to ask. So that's awful. So that's one thing. But then you want to try it for free. So you click on try it for free and it tells you contact a local partner. Dude, if I want to download a freaking software to test, to get a trial, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to ask for permission. That's a little bit much for me. I know that this is solely based or solely aimed at professionals type of software, but come on. Okay, then you read, you go, you blah blah blah, but you continue, and then it's okay. Try for free. I want to try for free, but it does nothing. It does nothing. That's absolutely, oh my god, I hate this website. So long story short, I was forced to make an account, and the account then allows you to try it for free, but only if you say, please, can I have my trial? For me, okay, again, it's just software, but if I wouldn't be already committed to making this video, I would absolutely just middle finger them and just say, no way, I'm going to talk to somebody to kindly activate my trial. No way. But that's just my small rant. So as you can see, I've got a full 13 days extra of my trial because I've activated it 2 weeks ago. But now let's continue. The software itself, it's actually huge. It takes 40 gigabytes to download. So be aware that once you download it, it's going to be a tiny 6 megabyte file for the installation, but then it just sucks the internet to give you that amount of data. But that's not all, because that's just the software that takes the 40 gigabytes. Then it's approximately 100 gigabytes of data, but those are the libraries. I mean, okay, still we're in this spot where I'm super glad that it's going to work, and it has really nice libraries that are tailored towards this software. So I cannot really complain about that. You don't need to download a lot to make it useful, so that's really cool. I kind of don't need to download it all at once, but I get it. It's going to be safer to just have it instead of counting on the servers always working. Okay, so once we open up our Lumion, it's going to greet us with this menu. Create new examples, benchmark. The examples are actually pretty neat. They can pretty nicely show you what the software is capable of. And just off the bat, none of those scenes are in any way cheating or, let's say, using some kind of tricks that are unavailable for regular users. It's just regular interior that normal human would make, and this is the quality you're getting. It's well done, it looks nice, it was done by a professional, but at the same time, it's decent. For me, it has two levels of quality. I mean, not for me, it just has two levels of quality. Once you open it up, I mean, once you open any kind of scene, what I love about this software, and I really need to give credit when the credit is due, it actually is super smooth. It's smoother than, for example, my experience with 5D render. Not as smooth as Twinmotion, but it has good flow. I like it. At the same time, we do have a couple of, let's say, small issues with the software right off the bat, because you can see that whenever I'm here and moving around, I cannot select anything as is. So I cannot just select a simple object. While exporting into Lumion, you're actually going to be exporting by the, let's say, portions. Also, I haven't yet figured out how to undo my movements, so we're now stuck with this abomination. So some elements are, as you can see, exported as one base, so there's barely any chance for you to edit anything about this. I mean, you can select each individual part if you go to the right category, for example, objects, and we can now start selecting objects, but those are objects, those are the objects, and we can select those. You can see that those are categorized as objects. So it is a little bit weird, but once you get used to the UI and shortcuts, it's not as far-fetched. For some reason, it has a pre-selection, or let's say the type of selection forced upon you right off the bat. I mean, not the worst thing to have. It works really well, and the UI is exceptionally clean. So I think I'm just going to reset this. So examples, let's open up a different one now. Wally Winery. Okay. You have undo beside position. I'm going to try to find it, because Control Z doesn't work, and I try to make it, but at the same time I know that there are buttons for it, but it's just that how is Control Z not the default for undo? It's just like, okay, why? It's just the most used shortcut between each and every program ever. So to have a seamless transition, you kind of have to have that ability. And I actually know where the undo is, but I'm just, well, trying to be funny. No, but honestly, it's actually a good software. It's fast, responsive, but we're probably going to explore the UI on the scene that I made. Right now, what we're doing is just highlighting how it is, how it works, how fast it reacts. Remember that at the moment I have mid to high range computer to run this, but my graphics card is like 6 years old, so it's not something that you would be calling top quality at the moment. And again, I absolutely love how easy it is to move in this software. I remember I struggled a lot in Enscape. Oh, not exactly Enscape, it was in SketchUp. I struggled a lot. While here, hello, how are you? It's a little bit of, I would say, it's refreshing to have such easy controls. Even a child could use it, and I appreciate that. So here it's actually quite nice. So this is the undo, I know. So here it looks good. Well, works fine. So I think as a first opening, I like it. But you have to be aware of one very important thing, and this is that is the usage of your resources. I've got 8 gigabytes of RAM on my graphics card, and with this scene, without too many items in it, I'm using 71% of it, and I'm getting 2 gigabytes free. So it still gives me nice FPS. I'm really happy about it, but if you add a couple of items more, your computer is going to struggle. But they actually have a really good idea. They had a couple of amazing ideas around here. So that's going to be something that we are going to be talking about in a second. So I think it's time to actually go to 3ds Max and talk about the scene again. So to export a file to Lumion, what you need to do it properly or by the book is to go to File, Export, and we're going to be exporting the, well, everything to FBX. And that's going to be a process that may fail from time to time, and it's all going to depend on what type of files you're using. So right now I'm going to go for the test FBX, and let's just try exporting it. There is a better way, and I'm going to show you what it is in a second, because just bare bones raw export in Lumion doesn't have a live link as far as I am aware. It doesn't have a live link with 3ds Max or any other software because it's a strong standalone software. It doesn't need no live links, I guess, but at the same time, maybe someday, please. Hey Mike, how could I approach modeling a Japanese Zen garden in 3ds Max, please? Arsoka, well, I would need a little bit of more context, because if we type in this is Japanese Zen garden, well, it's going to come down to probably what is the issue, or what would you like to do here. If it's all about the patches and those extra, let's say, elements on the sand, that's just geometry. So I would recommend you to create lines and then add a little bit of displacement based on distancing, or create some textures. It's a very simple process, to be honest. Rest is just scatters and areas. So I guess that would be my answer for you. So how I would approach it, I would be just creating some sort of shape, then outline that shape, outline that shape, outline that shape, and add the distance mapping, so it's going to create the right amount of distance. You know what, Arsoka? That's actually not a bad idea because that's a topic I never touched upon. I might actually do a short tutorial on that on our YouTube channel. Just could you send me a couple of examples to our email? Just let's say go to info@Vizacademy.co.uk, name the title the email for Mike for webinar or something like that, but make sure that it's for Mike, so I get notified by that, and then I'm going to see it, and maybe we're going to be able to create that. Namaste to you too, Vishnu. Do you prefer using Corona Sun and Sky or Corona HDRI for exterior shots? I do prefer the flexibility of Corona Sky and Sun. It is something that I found to be very important for me when dealing with those with that software. Okay. Now create new, and we're going to be going for plain environment because those two green environments, this is tropical, this is desert, this is mountain range. This would actually do, but it's a little bit, I would say, American type of mountain range, so I don't necessarily like it. And here this is too crammed and I don't want to clear it out, so we're going to go for plain environment. Since they created a lot of assets, I wish we would have more of those. Maybe there are, but I was not yet acquainted with them. So we're just going to take the basic default option. So what you need to be aware of is that it opens up almost as any 3D software of this type would. You just have gigantic portion of nothingness or just the ground. And that's it. So what do we do now? We need to find a way to import files into our scene. And to be honest, that gave me a couple of problems along the way. So first of all, if you just try to click on imported objects, it does nothing. You have to double click on it. And that already got me confused at first because I didn't know how it works and how it's going to react. So I was a little bit, am I doing it right? Am I? I didn't know. I just didn't know. Now let's grab the test FBX that I created because that's going to be our first step because we're trying to establish a link between 3ds Max and Lumion. Is it worth it? Can you turn on automatic translation to Vietnamese? I'm going to try, but oh my god, did I just kill the stream? Wait a second. Oh my god. During the stream, I might be unable to because I thought that we've got it. So I've got the automatic captions on, but it's automatic captions in English only during the stream. After the stream, it's going to auto-translate to different languages. Okay, so we've got the FBX model name, that's the model name. You can rename it here, that's very handy. Category folder, so main default, or you can just create a new category because that's important. Layers in Lumion are just super important and you need to always keep that in mind. So we're going to just go for the test import. Import animations, if you have any, that's a cool thing to have. Import edges lines, that's if you're using splines and such, so yes or no. Import lights, yes please. Force double-sided surfaces, I don't know. I just honestly don't know if I should, so I'm just not going to click on that. And now we wait. We wait for the effect, and we're going to see how the FBX export worked. And depending on how it's going to perform, we're going to continue. Hey, it actually did decent job. Not bad. Not as good as I expected. I mean, not as good as I wanted, but that's decent. Okay, +1 for you, FBX format. That wasn't that bad. Okay, so that's a start. But where's this plane coming from? Oh, this is the plane. Fantastic. So, okay, we've got it. It exported really well, and I've got nothing to really tell you here. It looks good. It didn't grab the camera because that was the Corona camera. And I get that it's just not something that this software would do. It's just not. So I still don't know if it's going to work for us or not. Mike, what CPU and GPU are you using right now? So right now I'm using 2060 RTX 6 years old graphics card with 8 GB of VRAM and Threadripper 2970WX, which is really good, but I'm going to be switching to something newer soon. Hello, are you testing different render? Can you rank? I will be ranking them later on, but at the moment, because it's a Lumion stream, I don't want to talk about other software. I'm going to disclose my findings, the pros and cons of all of those programs that I tested once we really get there. So, and now once we have our file, it actually imported quite decently, but I wanted to show you one extra thing that I think everybody's going to appreciate. So let's create a new plain environment, and in 3ds Max you can also find a special plugin for a Lime exporter. It's for Lumion exporting, but long story short, it's a very handy software that allows you to export files with a couple of extra textures and materials. So it does some kind of magic outside of 3ds Max, and it connects to the creators server, but it helps you export everything out of your file. So all you need to do is just click on whole scene, name the export, so the export, and click OK. For me, if I would be working with Lumion, this would be actually a good thing to use, but it's a paid software, so it costs approximately €5 for a month. So it's not bad. If you're going to have one project that you need to export a month for €5, it's like nothing. And it really does a good job of exporting. So I think this is an abandonware because everything that they did was uploaded for 3ds Max like 4 years ago, but it works with 3ds Max 2025, so they're definitely doing something with it. It's just that their promotional videos and all the tutorials do seem to be old. So also they haven't changed the Lumion logo, so they're definitely not so invested in the software. So the whole thing is going to take a while, so it's going to show me all the errors, all the elements, and it's going to take approximately a billion hours. So we're just going to abort this because I don't want to waste time for it. I already did this off screen a little bit earlier, so it's going to look like this. It's also on the same type of FBX file, but it's going to come with all of the textures, and for some reason those are going to be renamed Lime, but that's fine for me. So we're just going to grab this and go back to our Lumion. So the difference is that you're actually going to grab 5 textures more. I guess it's worth it, especially if you're going to be smart about what you're doing. So animations, no, okay. Test, perfect. Test 2. Not main default. We're just going to now test import this as well, and we're going to just test what we're doing. Hello, Lumion is faster than Corona. It's a very difficult question to ask. I mean, is it faster? It is. Is it better? I don't know. So you can get decent results with Lumion, and it's actually not bad, but you're going to see the rendering speed in a couple of minutes. Also, keep in mind that the processor that I'm using is going to be approximately £2,000, and the graphics card that I'm using is going to be £500. So it's not a fair comparison one-to-one, because if I'm going to be running similar hardware and software, I'm going to just test the price. 2970 WX. Okay, and let's see. Oh no, actually it's very cheap now. Okay, it's an actually fair comparison then. Wait a second, 2060 DX. Yeah, it's a pretty fair comparison then. Okay, so we're importing. It's taking a while, right? But it's a file, so we need to wait for it. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Meanwhile, since it's importing, I'm going to just try to raise you up with a couple of nice images that our students produced recently. So allow all the cookies, and I'm not that cookie. Oh my god, I need to log in. Okay, I'm just going to switcheroo to my different user, go to Instagram, and pretend that nothing happened. So what I wanted to show you is the current groups or previous groups results. And this image is by Mihalina. And well, first of all, this image was dang hard to do. And she was just she just did it. It's like, I don't know what's with this woman, but she's amazing. She's going to go real far. So that's the one thing. Also, we're collaborating with Great Catalog, and that's a really amazing website. So test them out. Why not? Then we've got amazing Zamra. And honestly, once she created this image, it blew my mind because she absolutely modeled everything, even the garments on the tables. I mean, obviously she was using pre-made trees and a couple of cutlery elements, but damn, it's amazing. Also, we've got something by our great student Cheng Chong, and that guy, I wish I would be able to talk to that guy more. It's just one of those people that I wished I would be able to give even more attention to. Really amazing person, really amazing artist. And here we've got Bricada's work. She's also amazing. So she struggled a lot with this image, and it took us a while. So she sent me this file. I looked into it. We went a little bit of back and forth, but eventually she was able to deliver this, and I kid you not, I did not click even one thing in this image, and that is amazing because our students are just capable of doing such amazing images. And Kyoko, again, a beautiful, brilliant mind of a student that just came in, blow everybody's minds. And let's go back to Lumion. I'm really excited. I'm really super glad. I'm super thankful to all of my students. Excuse me for being this excited about this, but I really am. It's just so cool to see such amazing results from people that started from absolute zero. And this is why we use the exporter that I mentioned. It does grab a couple of more materials. It helps you with a lot more textures, and in the end, if you've got your scene already pre-prepared in software like Corona, you're going to spend less time remaking some of the elements, and that is why I kind of like it. So we can now save this, and I'm just going to go for not desktop but Lumion, and we're going to oh, that's my test, so we're going to name this one test 2, so it's going to be a little bit better. Mike, can you make a webinar about daylighting in Corona exterior? I'm struggling with it and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Ahmed, I think we can, but I cannot promise that it's going to be any time soon because we have a couple of webinars scheduled ahead, but we might have something in stock for you soon. But I'm really intrigued about that Zen Gardens because that sounds like an original idea that I haven't done yet. So now let's explore the UI because that's going to be important. You can actually explore all the layers in Lumion at the same time, or let's say one by one, and work on them. So that's a very convenient way of placing those layers, and I like how they did it. But we got the standard UI, save as and load. Load is higher. Then we've got the build option. So this is the building element. We've got the photo, which pretty much translates to us finishing our work, and this is where the UI doesn't necessarily click with me because it's not as let's say fluent or not as snappy as the rest of the Lumion was up until now. Movie is just for you to make videos, record camera paths. We're going to explore this later. And 360s, you guessed it, we're going to be able to do spherical walkthroughs. So that's really cool. But let's go back to building. And now we're going to be Bob the Builders. So what do we do here? Because Lumion is really extremely easy to use, and the UI is so nice. It's clean, and it has nothing that you would actually need for it to like it. You don't need any knowledge to understand it, and it's amazing. Settings are bare bone. I mean, you can probably get there a little bit deeper into it, but that's all. That's all you can do with Lumion settings. And I like it because, again, this is a tool for designers to be creative, to go through options, and options this software does give. So first of all, let's focus on the lower portion of our UI. I guess I'm going to move that talking head, and let's just go for, where is it? My God, filter properties. No way. Got it. Oh, now it works. Now I'm going to be on the opposite side. By the way, behind me, you can see all of those very cool things that will always give you a bit of a heads up what you could do with the software. And it's basically going to be very helpful because once you press one button, it's going to tell you, hey, if you also hold another button, this is the combination you're going to get. That's really cool because not all software does this. And again, shortcuts are a must with software like this. What we're going to quickly notice is that with mid-range graphics card, your FPS is going to drop. I'm barely moving right now, and I've got only 7 FPS, so that's not a lot. It's just 7 frames per second. But again, the software looks good. So what can we do with it? First of all, we've got the imported models. So in the import, we can grab the nature objects, and those are going to be just your regular trees libraries, and some of them are coming from the max trees, speed trees, sorry, I've misspoke. So those are going to be really cool because you're going to get a lot of variation. So each tree that you see here is going to have 4 options, and those options are also going to come in additional, let's say, randomized variety options. So there's a huge library. So that is why it really takes so much space on your computer. So they've got trees, they've got palms, they've got leaves, leafless trees, all that you would need. If you need something super special, you're going to be able to always import it. But what I actually fell in love with is the clusters, and this is something that I am going to now use a little bit, because the clusters are just something that I wish that we had a bit more of in different programs, because that's just exactly what we should have. So cluster, it's just a big cluster of textured trees, but not exactly 3D models. It's just placeholders that will create the environment. And I actually love this because it's simple, it's easy, and it costs you nothing. So it's actually amazing. Also, please keep in mind that right now I'm streaming. I've got 3 screens, and I am at the same time working in real-time rendering while having 2 3ds Max instances open. So the so the frame rate is a little bit lower than it's supposed to be, but it's not going to be bad. Press F2 to turn off shadows, works smoother. So that's exactly why we need this to be live. Okay, so I pressed F2 and it didn't help. So I guess no. I guess it doesn't work that way. F3. Oh, F2 only lowers the quality of the shadows, doesn't turn them off. F1 turns them off. So that's actually a very cool tip. Thank you. Mike, can you give a hint how to materialize exported FBX, the one without the Lime exporter? How to materialize. So first of all, remember that, yeah, we're going to be talking about it in a second. So I'm going to talk about that exactly. So we've got a plethora of options. So nature, we've got people, and this is cool because we've got animals, and we've got even piggies. Pets, unfortunately, no dog that I would actually accept. I mean, You know Render, you know my dog. He's the most beautiful dog ever. I know that your dogs are going to be just as beautiful, but mine is mine. We've got trains for those that are more interested in that. We've got a couple of objects. I don't necessarily like this kind of objects because a collection Japanese, it means nothing. Japanese chair 02. I mean, I would like to have something that's going to be named. I mean, now nobody does it, but why bother if it's going to be just nameless product? But still, it has a ton of decorations, and also it has the backdrops, which let's say combined with the clusters is actually a really good thing to add, and it's huge, like huge. So it's again a good thing because you're now going to have a nice view outside of the window. So that's a nice way of building the environment. So okay, we've got it. Thank you, Escape. And then we've got the groups. So this is where you're going to be able to select the objects, honestly. So let's just go for select all categories, and we're going to be able to ungroup the objects to work with the specific materials. So as I said, in this software, the groups are going to have a really, or let's say the exported objects are going to have a really huge importance. You can see that this is treated as one gigantic cluster. So we're going to need to get into it to really get to add materials. So first of all, how do we add materials to an object that's already important without Lime or with Lime? So how do you do it? You have to go to the materials section, and the materials are in the second tab. We haven't yet gone through everything. I love the effects. It's actually something quite cool because you can add fountains, smoke, that's cool, and a little bit of nature sounds, which is weird, but also decals. So that's cool because there's so much of stuff in here that you could go on and on. But materials, so material editor is one of those things that we're going to be clicking on imported model to modify its material. So now we click on it, and now we can start dealing with the details. So it's going to treat each mesh as element. So each element is, or each group by material is going to be taken care of, and we've got just your usual suspects. So we're going to go for plastics, no, stone, no, plaster, please. Let's double click on it. So could you, okay, I want to enter the plaster. Okay, so ceiling clay, am I doing it right? Yes, I'm doing it right. So clay, plaster, so plaster, and now we can just drag and drop this material onto the object. So okay, perfect, and now we've got everything we needed. Things that I didn't notice in those materials is the ability to do too much to them. I mean, you can double click to work with those materials and fully edit the normal properties, but you're going to have the UV coordinates, and you're not going to, I haven't found the UV coordinate randomization, which is, by today's standards, it's something you should have. Also, weathering, it's again just your typical add a little bit of ambient occlusion. Foliage is, you know, leaves and whatnot, so it's going to scatter those textures as a decal on top of it. And in settings, you're going to just get the soften edges, which is let's say chamfering, but in the form of corona round edges, if I may say so myself. So we can now go to the library and just start adding all the materials, but we're not going to be adding all the materials because thanks to the Lime exporter that I used, I've already have most of them. So I potentially want to now change the weather and work with the rest of the settings in my computer. Also notice that I lost the UI on the left side. That's because again, this guy is hiding something behind him. So right now, when editing your materials or editing most of the elements, you're going to get into the sub-object level of editing that specific thing. My bad used this software 2 years ago. No, that's absolutely good. Thank you very much, Mohammed. That was super helpful. But for some reason, the shadows came back. Okay, so save changes, we're going to just click on that, and this way we're going to be able to go back with this guy into the corner, and let's continue. So objects are going to be classified by material. You can always select them and try deleting them, but for me it didn't work for some reason. Please? If I may not. Okay, I'm absolutely fine with that. Okay, so let's cancel the editing. So now we're in the materials edit, but then we're going to go to the landscape. So landscape is another cool thing because they actually thought about this and they made it for architects and for designers. So again, it's just a nice, smart way of doing stuff. So first, we've got the height. And brush size, brush speed, it's almost as if you would be doing the brush painting in 3ds Max, but smarter. So brush size, let's make it big. So this is the big brush. And once you reach a certain level, you're actually going to get a bit of rocks. That's cool. Not always something you need, but I'm pretty sure that there's some kind of way of not getting that. At the moment, I'm just going to add a little bit of it, so the clusters are also growing, and no, they're staying in spot, so I'm just going to pretend that I didn't say that, but it allows us to sculpt the terrain really well, and it's just a nice and easy way of adding a little bit of that. Lower, so we're just going to be, you know, doing the typical quick flattening, just so it makes sense. It makes sense. It's a fast and a very easy way of making your scene more natural. With the jitter and brush, everything is just good. You can also undo, flatten the landscape if you don't like anything you've done, and I actually like what I did, so we're going to keep it. Also, we've got the ability to add water. So hello to DS Max Corona, bathroom tutorial, please. I think we already done one to grow, but maybe at some point. So for water, we can select a portion of a terrain, but for that we're going to need to go lower. So I would have to sculpt the terrain to really see this. Ocean, I have, well, on. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. That's actually very cool. Okay, I like it. Painting. So we can also paint with different brushes. So let's just try using this brush size small, and let's see if it does something. Excuse me, can you start brushing? Like now. Oh yeah, it does nothing. Cool. Tile size. Let's brush size it, and yeah, very good, very good. Street map, okay. Did I just, oh yeah. Lumion user, thank you. Oh, no, I'm not downloading any GPS data. Landscape grass, okay, this is going to be fun, because landscaping is going to allow us to draw a little bit more detail, but that's just basics. Now the weather, this is what I wanted to really get into, because that's going to allow us to start setting up the mood for our whole exterior, right? So I position my camera, I just get it here, and this is another thing that you have to go to the photo to grab the camera to position it. Not very nice, because at this point I'm going to have to position it here. There is a bit of a cool thing that you actually have the info about the camera rotation, which most of the software doesn't have, and finally this one does, so it's okay. You can also set the camera focal length, so that's another thing that I like. We set up our aspect ratio. Let's go for 4:5 or 5:4. No, I want to go for custom. Flip aspect ratio. Okay, now that's going to be a typical Instagram shot for us. Also, change grid overlay will allow you to go through plenty of additional options for your composition. So that's always good. Also, you probably noticed, hey, this is all a little bit wobbly, weird. I don't like that the camera is a little bit skewed. And this is where here we're going to first save our camera, so I don't need to reposition it again. And this is where the weird stuff comes in, because now we're going to have to add all the effects. And the effects are the weather, 2-point perspective, and whatnot. So 2-point perspective is just a weird way for tilt shift correction. I mean, weird naming for it, because enabled, disabled. So enabled, it's going to make your z-axis let's say flat. And okay, that's an effect for a camera, makes sense. I mean, it's just a different way of working. Real skies, I mean, I thought that I already have a sky, but now I apparently have a real sky, so that's cool. Also, this is where the real problem for me begins, because you turn on the ray tracing and the whole idea of Lumion being super fast evaporates, because now we're loading in something that's going to slightly slow down our rendering, but it's going to also add a teeny bit of quality. So we're adding everything in, and you can see that now it's no longer as snappy, it's no longer as fast, but it definitely looks better. So let's save this, store this camera, and we need to work more with the environment. So I'm going back to the build, Bob the Builder's environment. Can I? Thank you. And we're back to square one, where everything doesn't correspond with my settings from the photo op. Okay, so we set up the night mode. Thank you. And yeah, a bit late reaction there. Perfect. Sun height, sun direction. So all of those typical settings that you need. Sun brightness, let's go down. Wind speed, cloudiness, I need more clouds. Thank you very much. And that's pretty much all that you can do. And real skies, let's turn it on. So it's going to be a little bit better. Oh, it hurts my eyes. Okay, can I just go down with the sun now? No? Okay, real skies works only in a specific daytime, so cool. Okay, so setting up the weather is awkward. Okay, maybe there's... Okay, that's actually not bad. I need more presets. Okay, that's fine, but okay. Let's continue, because now we're going back to the photo and we're going to keep on playing around. But now our camera is reset, so I don't understand the point of it. I just don't. Real skies is like HDRI. Yeah, it is, but I thought that real sky is going to be like real sky, and they made a couple of hours of footage, but it apparently is. I was just that was my wishful thinking, I guess. Okay, so let's look up. Okay, it actually feels nice to work with Lumion. I'll give you that. So remove, double click, remove, and now we need to. Now we can start adding the settings that we did. So ray tracing, point perspective, and now this is the weird thing, because you need to add them on one by one. You can now name this custom style, okay, but why? Sky, aurora borealis, okay, horizon cloud, lighting. Sun, I want sun, because it sounds like a good effect to have during the night. Okay. Yeah. Now sky camera, what else can we do? Depth of field, that's amazing. So that's a one big plus of all real-time rendering engines. We've got the depth of field, and we can just focus on something. Although I did set up a little bit darker scene, so we need to go back to our not materials but content library, create a couple of lights, and then continue, because we're definitely not going to be able to continue without it. So let's go for Omnilight and just place it here. So yeah. Let's go for area light. Okay, just spotlights, I guess. Spotlights it is. So we're adding a couple of spots. Works nice. One here, and Software like this always is going to need a couple of array tools and some of those specific detailed top view options, because that's a little bit odd to go around and just twinkle the lights like this. It's just odd. Okay. The oddity of it is amazing, but I'm not going to complain too much. So now here we're going to go to select, we're going to select the Omni light, or at least we're going to try, and we can now set brightness for this one. So we need it to be way lower, and I think the spotlight would actually work better here. So I'm going to delete that. So how do I delete you? Deleting you is not an option, I guess. So we're just going to deselect. No, delete is here. So we double, triple hold click. Please, can I delete you? Oh, I need to now select you and click on you. Lovely. So yeah, deleting objects in Lumion is a special operation. Okay, so double click on the lights again for the creation, and we're going to be selecting lamps. Okay, so let's add this in. I already overdid it. Perfect. And let's add it in. Twinkle the light, please. Can I aim it correctly? Perfect. Sorry, Mike, but have a question about 3ds Max and Corona. Is Azure get you better results for sun and sky? Azzy. So it depends on your intention, but generally, yes. So if the HDRI is done correctly, it's going to have a lot of quality, it's going to have a lot of detail, it is going to have better lighting than any artificial version could have. But if you're doing animation, HDRIs are kind of problematic because no clouds are going to be moving, nothing in the environment is going to be alive, although the reflections from the HDRIs are better, just hands down better. While we work with, while I prefer working with the sky, if I have a chance or I've got something in my library that I think is going to be the perfect option for me, I'm going to take it first. Okay, nice. Okay, color, do we? No, we don't have the temperature. Oh, Kelvin, nice. That is actually cool. Okay, so we've got a couple of presets, perfect. Can I copy this style, target lights? Okay, can I copy this specific style like real quick? Because I don't really want to do it for every other light, or nah. Okay, I'm just going to try doing it fast and easy. Did I just create 2 lights here? I did or did not? I think I did, so we're going to delete one. Did I create 5 of them here? Okay, you have to be very cautious because you might do a couple of mistakes like I did. Con angle, perfect. Color, Kelvin, please. Okay. It actually works. So now we're getting closer to what we wanted. The lighting is looking good. So now we're going to go back to our photo. Okay, so photo it is. Upload everything. I mean, update. Okay, depth of field is almost working. Let's turn it off because I have no idea during this lighting. With this lighting, I have no idea if it works or not. Ray tracing, volumetric, sky, volume night, God rays, volume light. Conceptual, no. Featured, perfect. But again, we're going to be going back to ray tracing. Did I already add ray tracing or not? Yes, I did. So do I get to work with exposure now? Oh, yeah, color correction. So temperature, default exposure. Perfect. So we need exposure, a bit lower contrast. Highlights will clamp, I hope. So yeah, that's clamping. Midtones go uppity up, and shadows go uppity up. So we're close, Temperature goes up. And we need to reposition our camera so it's going to be a bit less annoying. I mean, I haven't added even one grass and I haven't shown you any kind of scatter options, but I'm trying my best to just quickly set up a scene to be useful, or let's say something that I'm not going to be afraid of calling a render. So now at this point, let's add additional effects, because I think it's going to actually make sense to now add not God rays, volume slight, volumetric lights, and we're going to see how the scene reacts to it. So can I see something? Oh, it added a really nice bloom and glare on it. And now the big final render. So we've got the render photo. I'm not going to be setting this up full 100% because it's going to take us a while. I'm not as acquainted with the software to really give you the exact settings at the moment, so apologies for that, but we're just testing. So Lumion 001. Okay, I think I need to give more exposition. To be honest, I never seen anyone getting decent results with Lumion except a guy named Nuno Silva, but that's the point. If only one guy is able to get such results. I mean, I heard about that guy, and I just recently saw a couple of his videos, and I must say, I must admit that he's good, but I wouldn't say that it's impossible to get those results. He shows really clearly how to get there. So again, it's going to be something that you just will like. So now we're back to square one. I'm rendering this on ray tracing 64 samples, and this is where the Lumion is, I would say, we're back to square one. Is it worth using Lumion if rendering is still going to take some time? Does it take a lot of time? Let's really see, because just 2 minutes, we can wait for that. I can add a bit of post-production. I have to take into account that I didn't do a lot of color correction, and I could have done way more with the lighting, but I like the sky. I like that it's easy, it's very responsive, it's fast to set up, you have no nonsense, you've got plenty of really good quality libraries that will really correspond with the quality of the software. So this is something that's not going to feel a little bit far-fetched, where you've got one amazingly looking texture and another one that's going to be really low quality. And they really keep this level of quality, let's say, intact. So that's really something that I would say is for a plus of this software. Corona and V-Ray lack of real-time rendering was a dowback, but Vantage has eliminated that limitation. While Vantage is a great option, I still think it's wise to stick with Corona. Salomon, you actually preach, but you might be really excited about the fact that Vantage just today, or that's Corona. Corona has a live link with Vantage right now, and it's actually quite good. So let's see the render, and let's open it up in Photoshop so we can give it a couple of nudges. So the original was from Corona. So obviously we had bushes here, all of those small things. I could add them in. The trees were exported, those are the same. This one got lost in the process. I haven't added the same lighting as you've clearly seen, so that's on me. Also, I should have added a way more sky than I did, but let's see if we can get something out of it still with a little bit of just a notch in Photoshop, because I kind of am surprised that it's not bad. I mean, I like what I did. It's decent enough with a bit of exposure control. Okay, contrast, highlights go down, shadows go up. We're going to change the temperature. Perfect. And now we need a little bit of LUTs in a second. So dehaze, let's go lower just a little bit. And now I need the clarity to make it fun. But at the same time, we're going to change those orange-ish yellow colors to more just orange. So hue, let's switch up that. Okay, I like that. The green, I really dropped the ball on that. Also, it's too bright, in my opinion. You know what? Lumion is decent. If I would spend a couple of minutes on adding the extra foliage, extra elements with randomization, if it existed within this software, I would be satisfied. I mean, yes, there are elements that could have been done better by me, and the result is decent. The quality, even after after a couple of minutes, it's decent. It's useful. It's doable. Best render engine for you at the moment for me, Corona, hands down, number one. Forever in my heart, potato for Corona. But I am slowly appreciating Vantage more and more, because you can take advantage of the Vantage, and you cannot really go far with this pun, but it's actually something that I like about this software. There's something that I like about this software. It now finally has the live link, so I'm not going to be that sad about it. So I mean, I like it. That's what I'm trying to say, but I'm failing miserably. Honestly, I like this. Fall colors, and again, I haven't added the greens, so it's way more primitive. The flare really works well. A little bit of depth of field would be a good idea. Okay, I would say, again, it's decent. I am going to say it. This software is decent, useful, usable. Is it super fast? Well, it's faster, because a render like this to get the same resolution in Corona clearly is going to take a little bit longer. So let's set up something similar. So now the width, the height was 120, so it's pretty much very similar proportion. And to get decent result, we're going to get this and the NVIDIA denoising. So let's see if we're going to get something that's useful. Again, remember, I haven't spent enough time on the whole setup, and I'm comparing a very much, let's say, similar price point GPU and CPU. The CPU is a little bit more expensive than the GPU, but it's not going to be, let's say, out of the equation to actually buy it. Okay, so now after we're going to see how much quality we're going to get after 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to read the chat. What do you think of the previous V-Ray update that you think about the future of Corona? I am very confident that Corona is not going anywhere, like anywhere. It has so many features coming up. It's constantly updated. I wish that we would get more, because I'm greedy, but Corona is really doing well. The last update with Gaussian splats and the rest of the quality enhancing elements in V-Ray, I wouldn't say it's a total game changer, but it's definitely going to be something that you cannot ignore. Is Corona in trouble? Not at all. Does it need to be better? Certainly, we all do. But at the moment, I'm not that concerned about it. I mean, Corona is going to surprise us soon, because it's getting some super cool features. And right now, I know that I have those features because I got the release candidate one. And it's basically the latest version of the current next version, but there is some sort of way of now using this for collabs. Look at that, it's amazing, and I'm going to be showing you more of those features later on. 2 minutes past, I've got the denoising on. Remember that we also had denoising in there, so I'm going to look at Lumion real quick. Okay, so we cannot see how long it took. It was approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? So let's stop this here, and we're going to allow it to run its quick computation for denoising. So is it that much worse? No, I mean, it's way better, but again, we cannot compare it fairly because I haven't gave the both images the same, let's say, treatment. I'm still going to say that at the moment, the quality that Corona delivers on the same one-to-one price point, I'm not switching to Lumion. Not yet, but if I would need to just do the fastest rendering ever, I mean, add the presets, elements that I don't need to model, and just slap a couple of colors, Lumion is good. But is it that amazing? I don't think so. It's something. Also, I'm going to forever hate them for that absolutely awful experience with trials. Come on, I need to beg somebody to activate my trial. Frick off. Now, to be honest, okay, sorry Mike, but I have a question about 3ds Max Corona, okay. Image after all that client asked for a change in the main model. Sorry Mike, but I have a question, okay. Okay, so now best render engine for you, Corona. Thank you for your efforts, Mike. You're appreciated, and I hope Mike Tyson beat Jake the Fat. Is it today? Is it tonight? I'm going to see if Mike Tyson is going to beat up Jake Paul. How about exported FBX? So the exported FBX, we kind of showed how it was working, and it was fine. I would just spend a couple of extra minutes adding all of the colors back in, so it's not going to be any kind of groundbreaking discovery. Also notice that I think that we are not having any kind of displacement in Lumion, so that's a minus, a huge one, I would say. Okay, so I am again going to just say it. Lumion is fine, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. The price is not wrong. There's no live link. It takes a lot of time to set up. There's a lot of gimmicky stuff in there. The UI is super clear. It's fun to work with. I think it's a great toy if you used Sims 4 to, let's say, design your interiors, and now you're switching to a big boy or big girl software. You probably will appreciate Lumion a lot, but Corona is way better. At the moment, I'm just going to say that. Okay, guys, so this is going to be it for today. I'm going to say that I had a lot of fun, and it was amazing to have you as my audience. I highly appreciate the positive feedback. Please make sure to click a couple of likes on our video. Also subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And at the very end, I would like to invite you to consider participating in our training. That's Vizacademy Co UK, where we teach our students how to build beautiful interiors and exteriors just like those that literally this is all created by the previous group. And Sarah, amazing person. I already told her that this bike is amazing, and she knows. She's just a beautiful human being. Oh my god, I love this image. So Harry, if you're ever going to hear this, you're amazing. And again, it's just something that I wanted to say. So everybody from the previous group that I can remember, so Chris, Mihalina, Zamra, we've had Kyoko, Harry, Sarah. Oh, by the way, this is actually by Christian. That's amazing image. Come on, that's world class. Hey, I believe it's good to know as many programs as possible, as different offices are use different tools. However, when working with independently, 3ds Max and Corona Render offer the best photorealistic results. And Mihalina, if you're that Mihalina, I absolutely agree with you. If you're not that Mihalina that I think you're, the Mihalina that I think you are, I'm going to still agree with you. And Anna is my current student, so nice to have you. Okay, guys, this is it. This is it. I'm just stalling. I just like doing it. So I'm just going to say subscribe, like, and please make sure to consider our training, Vizacademy Co. UK, and check out the available dates. That's it for today. Next time, we're going to be talking a little bit more about potentially other software, or maybe we're going to go back to Corona because I kind of missed it and it has a really amazing update now. Thank you once again and see you soon.